Hello students, welcome to Daily Chronicles by Abhiram Ias. So today we'll be talking about 13th of March daily current affairs, right? Now let's see what we are discussing today. So today we'll be discussing about the retail inflation and also about CPI, and we'll be discussing about small modular nuclear reactors and also Great Nicobar project and also the APAR ID, and lastly we'll be discussing about a species that is ocelots. Chalo, let's start. So the first article is telling retail inflation at 7-month low has food prices declined. So basically the food prices has been declined. Now it is telling that consumer price inflation, that is CPI, has dropped to 3.6% in the February 2025. That is the consumer price inflation has been dropped to 3.6% with growth slowing for the fourth straight month, and also inflation is now below RBI 4% of target, increasing the chances of repo rate reduction. And it is also telling that, see, the increase in the consumer price index, which measures the retail prices, has been slowed down for the fourth consecutive month and is now lower than the Reserve Bank of India's target inflation of 4%, and there is a chance of increasing the 0.2% of repo rate cut by the RBI next month. Now, let's see what is retail inflation, and also let us see the CPI. But before that, first, let's discuss what is the impact of RBI. What is the impact on RBI? See, basically, Reserve Bank of India wants the inflation at 4%, around 4%. But as we just saw now, it is below 4%. So the RBI may cut the repo rate by 0.25%. RBI may cut the repo rate. What is this repo rate? See, repo rate is nothing but it is a interest rate at which banks borrow the money from the RBI. Banks will borrow money from the RBI. Remember this, repo rate is nothing but interest rate at which the banks will borrow money from the RBI. So now we are having lower repo rate, right? We are having lower repo rate. Now what happens if there is a lower repo rate? That means cheaper loans. The loans will be at the cheaper loans, such that what happens, more spending will happen. If we take more loans at cheaper rates, what we'll do, we'll spend more, right? More spending, and we'll also invest more, such that what happens, there will be the economic growth. There will be growth in the economy. Economic growth happens. Now next, what happens? Let's see the summary, what the article is saying, and let's see about the retail inflation in detail. So the summary is telling that inflation levels are falling. What if inflation levels are falling? Then it is good for the consumers. We can buy more goods, right? See, before we also saw there is 1,000 rupees per 1 kg tomato, but now today when I went to the market, it was like around 10 rupees for 1 kg. Yes, we can say that the goods, that means vegetable prices or pulses prices has been reduced. That means inflation is falling down so that we can buy more. Now also, as I told, food prices, like for vegetables, fruits, pulses have been dropped. But remember, wheat and onions have been not dropped. Wheat and onion price is still expensive. If you see, both in urban areas and rural areas, both the inflation has been slowed down. Now, whereas in the states like Kerala, it is the highest inflation. Kerala state is having highest inflation, and our Telangana is having lowest inflation. Kerala is having highest and Telangana is having lowest inflation. Right, this is the summary of the article. And further, with this you can tell that RBI will reduce the interest rate. RBI is ready to reduce the interest rate. Now, finally, you can conclude by saying that if there is a low amount of inflation, then what happens? That means you can save more. More savings happens, right? when inflation rate is low, more savings, and that leads to stable prices. More savings leads to stable prices, and then there will be a stronger economy, right? There will be stronger economy. This is the summary of the whole article. Now, but here in depth, let's see about the retail inflation in detail, which is important for the prelims point of view. See, what is retail inflation here? Retail, as the word here you can see, it is retail. Retail inflation refers to the rate at which the general price level of goods and services consumed by households increases over a period of time. And this retail inflation is measured by the consumer price index, that is here CPI. Now further, this retail price index is published by National Statistic Office, that is NSO, under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, right? And then this releases the CPI data every month, and the base year is 2012. Now, what are the major components? If we see, the CPI basket includes food and beverages, housing, fuel and light, clothing, footwear, and all other miscellaneous items like health, education, transportation. Now, if you see, it also includes it doesn't include the services, right? It doesn't include the services. Now, we'll see the comparison between CPI and WPI next in later coming sessions. Now see, the CPI subcategorizes like CPI combined, where it is used to calculate the overall retail inflation, whereas coming to the CPI rural and CPI urban, these are two different, that is where you can see the measure with respect to the rural and also the urban inflation separately, right? CPI category. CPI combined means it is used to calculate overall retail inflation, that is rural plus urban, but whereas you can see separately also CPI gives separately CPI rural and also CPI urban. Now next. See, if we see the factors, why the retail inflation rises, because of food prices. Volatility in food prices significantly impacts the CPI. And further, if we see fuel prices, when elections are there, fuel prices decreases. When elections are completed, you can see the fuel prices will increase, right? So changes in crude oil prices will affect the transportation and production cost, right? Then also monetary policies, like if you see who controls the monetary policies, who controls the inflation, that is the Reserve Bank of India, with various monetary policies through the repo rate adjustments. One of the monetary policies adjustment of repo rate, and also reverse repo rate, and etc. And also if you see this supply chain disruptions, due to the supply chain disruptions, issues like the global supply chain disturbances, transportation cost, and raw material shortages influences the inflation, right? And also fiscal policies, that is the government policies. Here remember, fiscal policies refers to the government policies, and monetary policies refers to the policies taken by the RBI, right? Now, due to this fiscal policies, government taxation, subsidies, and spending, these also impact the price levels. Now next, let's see the impact, how this retail inflation will impact. See, if you see, if there is a high inflation, this reduces the real value of money, right? If there is more inflation, then this will decrease the real value of money. And also monetary policy, if we see, RBI uses the inflation targeting to keep the CPI inflation within 4% to 2%. But whereas if we saw now, the inflation rate has been fallen down, that is, it is less than 4%. So now what is RBI doing? It is increasing, like it is reducing to 0.25%, right? Now interest rates also, if you see the impact of interest rates, inflation influences the repo rates, lending rates, and also borrowing costs, just as I explained before. Now also, what happens to the economic growth? What is the impact on economic growth? There will be persistent high inflation and can lead to the reduced incentives and also the savings. Further, let's see about this is the comparison between the retail inflation and also the wholesale inflation, that is CPI versus your WPI. Now, what does the CPI do exactly? See, as the name tells, consumer price index. This measures price rise at the consumer level. And what does this wholesale inflation does? It measures the price rise at the wholesale level, right? And it is published by the NSO. CPI is published by the NSO. This is important, remember. And this, whereas coming to the WPI, it is published by the Office of Economic Advisor, right? And the base year for the CPI is 2012, whereas coming to the wholesale inflation, it is also 2011-2012. Now see here, the CPI includes services, remember, CPI includes services, but whereas coming to the WPI, it excludes the services. It is very important, remember this. And why this retail inflation measurement is necessary? Because it is used in the monetary policy by the RBI, but whereas your wholesale inflation is used for different industrial price levels. This is all about this first article. Now moving to the second article. Now what it is telling, so design stage of small modular nuclear reactor has been completed. So basically the article is telling that the concept design stage of India's proposed Bharat small modular reactor has been completed and is in the process of being approved. So basically we are talking about the Bharat small modular reactors. Let's see the summary, what the article is telling about. So what is this Bharat small modular reactor? See, it is a small nuclear reactor which is being developed in India. Let's talk about small nuclear reactors in the coming session. But first let's talk about the Bharat small modular reactors. And this is a modified version of pressurized heavy water reactor. Pressurized heavy water reactor with a capacity of 2000 megawatts of electricity. With the capacity of 2000 megawatts of electricity. Right. Next, now where it is, what fuel we are using in this? We are using uranium. Remember, we are using uranium. This is important. Remember. Now, what is the current stage of this Bharat small modular reactors? So presently, the concept design has been done. It is telling that the concept design has been done and waiting for the approval. For the approval, we are waiting still. So once approved, it will take almost 60 to 72 months. That is approximately like here 5 to 6 years, right? 60 to 72 months, 5 to 6 years approximately. And it is being developed by the Baba Atomic Research Center, that is BARC, Baba Atomic Research Center, and also NPCIL. Remember this. So this Bharat small reactors is a modified version of pressurized heavy water reactors with the capacity of 200 megawatts of electricity, and the fuel used here is uranium, and it is developed by the BARC, that is the Baba Atomic Research Center, and also the NPCIL. Right? Now, where we'll use this Bharat small modular reactors? Where we'll use? So it will be used in various industries like steel industry, aluminium industry, and also cement industries, where we will use them for captive powering, captive power generation. That means for self-use power generation. And also see, now you can see there are many old coal plants, coal power plants, right? So these Bharat small modular reactors will be replacing this old coal power plants. And also in the remote areas, it will supply the electricity, for supplying the electricity also. So these are its uses. And now if we see in the article, there is also role of private sector, role of private sector. How private sector helps? So basically the government is invoking the Indian private vendors to manufacture the key reactor parts. So simply it is the public-private partnership where the private sector is helping in manufacturing the reactor parts, and also critical components like reactor pressure vessels, and also the control systems will be made by India. Control systems will be made by Indian companies under the Department of Atomic Energy. Clear till this? So for this, the budget announcement in budget 2024, there has been announcement like government will partner with the private sector for the nuclear energy development, and also research and development of Bharat small modular reactors, and also newer other nuclear technologies will be funded. So for this, investment of 20,000 crore been allocated for the first Bharat small modular reactor by 2033, by the year 2033. So 20,000 crore has been invested. And what is the long term goal? So the target is 100 gigawatts of nuclear power capacity by the year 2047. This Bharat small modular reactor will be done by 2033, and there is a long term target of 100 gigawatts by the year 2047. Now, in this context, let's talk detail about what are these small modular reactors. Now it is important to know about small modular reactors for the exam prelims perspective. Now in the name itself we are having small, right? So they are the small modular reactors which are the advanced nuclear reactors with a power capacity of 300 megawatts of energy per unit. That is 1/3 of the traditional reactors, and they are defined by the International Atomic Energy Association. Like SMRs are compact, factory assembled, and also designed for the modular deployment. If we break down the names like small modular reactors, let's see each one by one. Now what is the small here? It is physically smaller than your conventional nuclear reactors, right? And now, so as we saw now, like this conventional nuclear reactors produces 700 megawatts of energy, but whereas this small modular reactors is producing 300 megawatts of energy. Now what is modular here? So they are the factory assembled components for the easy transportation and installation. You can transport easily and you can install anywhere. And also these reactors will be used in this reactors will use the nuclear fission to generate the heat for the electricity. Right, clear till now? So break small modular reactors. Small means they are producing 300 megawatts of energy compared to the conventional model, that is which produces 700 megawatts. And also if modular reactors, what is modular here? We can assemble anywhere, that is easy for installation and easy for transportation, and thus reactors will use the nuclear fission to generate heat for the electricity. Now moving on, what are the advantages of the small modular reactors? So basically just now we saw they are small in size, so flexibility in location. They can be installed in areas which are unsuitable for large reactors for producing the electricity. Like we can also keep them in our urban areas and rural areas, right? Urban and rural areas, mostly it is useful for rural electrification. And also cost and time efficiency. So as it is small, we can build in less time, building in less time. So factory build units reduce construction time and cost, and off-grid capacity. So it is ideal, just now we discussed, it is ideal for rural electrification and remote areas. And if we see, these will be micro reactors which is suitable for backup power, remote regions, and also diesel replacement. And one more advantage is enhanced safety as they are small. So this uses passive safety systems like convection, gravity, and low power operation to minimize the risk. And it also reduces the fuel needs. What fuel we are using? We are using the uranium fuel, right? So the fuel need also will be reduced. It requires the refueling only every 3 to 7 years, with some models lasting up to 30 years also. So maximum is 3 and minimum is 3 and maximum is 30, right? Now next. Now coming to the next article. What the next article is telling? So basically, no objections has been received on the Nicobar Infra project, says Minister, sent in 2022. He is the Tribal Council Chief, right? Now, seeing this article, let's see in depth. What it is telling is that the government has not received any information about the objections to the Great Nicobar Infrastructure Project. So here we will be discussing about Great Nicobar Infrastructure Project, either raised by the Tribal Council of Great Nicobar Islands or documented in a video reported by the anthropologist Vishwajit Pandya, who is the Union Tribal Affairs Minister, Joel Oram, said in the Rajya Sabha Wednesday. So basically this minister is telling that there has been no objections for the Nicobar Infrastructure Project, and there is also no objection from the Tribal Council Chief. Now in this context, let's see about the Great Nicobar project, which is important for both the means and prelims perspective. But first, before going into the project details, let's see about the geographical locations of the Great Nicobar. Now, where is this Great Nicobar Island present? So it is the southernmost tip of India. Remember, it is the southernmost tip of India. South side, right? Southernmost tip of India. And it is part of Andaman and Nicobar Archipelago Islands, and further it is having the hilly terrain, lush rainforest, and like the rainfall will be around 3500 millimeters. And also see, it is having rich biodiversity like giant leatherback turtle, remember giant leatherback turtle, and Nicobar megapod and Great Nicobar crake, and also Nicobar crab-eating macaw, and also Nicobar tree shrew. Remember these species, it is important. Next, we also have the coastal ecosystems, which include the mangroves and pandan forest. And further, it is separated from Andaman Islands by 10-degree channel. By 10-degree channel, remember this, it is separated by the Andaman Islands. This Great Nicobar Island is separated by the Andaman Islands with 10-degree channel. Remember this. Next, further, if we see the tribe, who are the tribes resides here? It is Shompen, Nicobaris tribes, and also we are having 2 national parks here in this Great Nicobar. What is that? Campbell Bay National Park and also Galathea National Park. And this is here Great Nicobar Islands, which is having 2 national parks, that is Campbell Bay National Park and also Galathea National Park. And here we are having the Indira Point, which is the southernmost tip. Indira Point, which is the southernmost tip. Now further, let's see what it is telling. Now let's see about the Great Nicobar Island project. Why is this project? So this is basically developed by the Andaman and Nicobar Islands Integrated Development Corporation. And what are the key components? So basically this project is for transshipment port at Galathea Bay. Transshipment port at the Galathea Bay. Okay. Now also next, international airport and township development. Basically here, international airport and also the township development, and also 450 MVA gas and solar power plant has been also been planned as the objective of this project. And if we see the strategic location, it is near to Malacca Strait, so that what happens, we can enhance the transportation facility, easy transportation, and also enhancing the India's maritime presence and security, also useful for the security purpose. Here you can see state of Malacca, right? So this Great Nicobar is near to the state of Malacca, so easy for the transportation, right? Now next. But now, what are the challenges? See, basically there are indigenous tribes here. If the project will come, the Shompen and Nicobaris have to face the displacement, violating the Forest Right Act of 2006. And also there happens a huge ecological damage, as there will be deforestation, coral reef destruction, and also threat to the Nicobar megapod. We saw the species here, right? And also leatherback turtles. And also seismic risk, as it is located in the high earthquake prone zones. So if this project is approved, there will be seismic risk. And also tribal councils allege inadequate legal consultation. So basically, what are the challenges for this? You can use in your mains answer writing. What are the challenges? So the PVTGs will place the displacement, violating the Forest Rights Act of 2006. There will be ecological damage, where it is also threatening the Nicobar megapod and also leatherback turtles. And there will be also seismic risk, that is earthquakes, as it is located in the high earthquake prone zones. And also lack of consultation, that is from the approval from the tribal councils. Now coming to the next article. What the next article is telling about? Okay, so APAR ID system voluntary, but activists and parents raise concerns over growing mandates. Now what the article is telling is that parents and activists worry that it could become near impossible to opt out of Education Ministry's automated permanent academic account registry, that is your APAR. APAR ID. So what is APAR? That is Automated Permanent Academic Account Registry for school students through enrollment is supposed to be voluntary. It is not mandatory, but it is voluntary in nature. So the APAR ID ties into the DigiLocker and the academic banks of credits, which the government hopes to use for the standardized student school transcripts in a uniform way as a single source of truth. So basically it is one student, one card. One student, for each student there will be one card, that is the APAR ID card. Now let's discuss in short about this APAR ID. So basically this APAR ID was introduced by the Education Minister. APAR ID is basically introduced by the Ministry of Education, right? Ministry of Education. Now, why it is introduced? It aims to create a standardized academic record. It is aimed for the standardized academic record system. But it has also raised some concerns regarding the privacy and also voluntary enrollment and also the accessibility to education. Now, let's understand how this APAR works. See, remember, it is a lifelong unique ID for the students to track their academic progress from pre-primary to higher education. That is your first to until your education has been completed. Like now it is LKG, sorry. Now LKG to until your higher education has been completed. Now this is acting as a gateway to DigiLocker for strong academic records digitally, where every student information is being stored in the under this card under one ID number. For each student there will be each unique ID number. So it is introduced by National Education Policy 2020 by the Education Minister. Now what is the need for this APAR? So hassle-free education. It eliminates the need for the physical documents. Like now you need not to submit your SSC, all those documents whenever you go to each place or whenever you change the school. If you say the ID, your all details will be displayed. And now it improves the education tracking also. Like if you can see, there are dropouts has been increased. Now if this if a child is not going to school for suppose 1 month, then here you can track the student details and you can help in the improvement of her school, that is improvement in her education. So it is tracking the dropouts rate also. It is helping in tracking of the dropout rates and also monitor the literacy levels, and also it prevents from fraud, which ensures the authenticity of the educational records, and also credit transfer. Easily the credit will be transferred to this linked ID. So linked to academic bank of credits for easy migration between the institutions. As now we discussed, instead of submitting your certificates wherever you go, if you tell your ID, your details will be displayed in this report and you can show it for them. Now as we discussed, now what are the benefits of this APAR ID? Unified academic identity, streamlining student records and achievements. Your all achievements will be stored here, and also seamless academic mobility, simplifying the school transfers, and also admissions and employment, applying to universities or job hunting, where you can use this ID card. And also digital repository, now everything is digitalized, right? So safeguarding the academic data and beyond that. And also dropout recovery initiative, as we discussed just now, identifying and re-engaging the learners. And also consent based easy verification, where the consent based documents sharing is easy. Now next, if we see further, now what is the concern basically with this APAR? Let's see. And now this APAR, as we just now saw, it stores the academic achievements and certifications digitally. It transfers student records between schools via this APAR ID, and only authorized institutions can deposit credits, ensuring the authenticity. Now, what is the concern and challenge to this APAR ID? So basically privacy issues, right? Risk of other linked data leaks, and also what happens, data processing. The withdrawal consent stops new processing but doesn't erase the past data. Your past data will not be erased, right? And also administration burden happens, like teachers worry about the adding workload alongside with the Aadhaar verification. See, now here I have now we can see the challenge is privacy issues. What is the right to privacy famous case? That is case Puttaswamy versus Union of India, right? Case Puttaswamy versus Union of India. Now, as per Supreme Court ruling in this case Puttaswamy versus Union of India, it has been said that Aadhaar cannot be mandatory for basic education. So this Aadhaar verification is not mandatory for education. So this is also one of the challenge, one of the critic. So in summary, this APAR will aim to simplify the academic record keeping and improve the efficiency. It will also raise the question, but it will also raise the questions about the privacy and also mandatory enforcement and accessibility to education. It is important to balance the technological advancement with the individual rights to ensure that no student is excluded from education due to the bureaucratic hurdles. Now, last article, let's see, that is about the auklets. Now, what are these auklets? So, if you can see, it is neither the cat nor the cheetah, not the tiger also, but it is all of a mixed combination. So, basically, here we can see it is family of Felidae, that is big cats. Felidae, what is a tiger family? Cats family, it is all Felidae. So as we can see, it is mixed, so it belongs to the Felidae family, same as your domestic cats, tigers and lions, and its scientific name is Leopardus pardalis. As you can see, it is close resemblance with a cat and also leopard, and it is native to South and Central America, parts of Mexico and also the US. And now if we see where it resides, its habitat is in tropical forest, mangroves, grasslands and shrublands. And further, in IUCN Red List, it is least concern, but this population is being declining. The population has been declining in some regions. In sites of appendix, in sites, it is placed in the appendix 1 where the international trade is restricted. And if you see the key features, you can see it is a medium-sized wildcat, right? Medium-sized wildcat. This you can also see some golden yellow fur, right? Golden yellow fur with black rosettes and spots, same like the leopard. And also nocturnal and solitary, where it will hunt in the nights. Nocturnal means which is hunting in the nights, and solitary where it lives in small groups. And is also excellent swimmer and climber, which will adapt well to the diverse habitats. When any species in news, just remember at least their conservation status, that is IUCN and CITES status, and whether it is endangered or critically endangered or least concern, and also know about the key features, as UPSC is very interested in these category. Okay. Now, this concludes our today's current affairs, and we'll be back with another video. Thank you.